It is such a beautiful morning this morning. The sandflies in here are vicious though, so I only got about halfway through the bug screen project in Townsville before I kind of forgot about it, and then we haven't had bugs since. So this hatch doesn't have a bug screen yet, so it's closed. This is the mostly completed project that I started in Townsville. I just have to install the snaps so that it can be attached better to the boat, and then this one's done. It's pretty cool, it just zips down. So you snap it on and then you can zip the opening. And then this is the only hatch that has a complete bug screen situation, and the foredeck hatch, there's just a rogue piece of bug screen that we're kind of draping over it and putting a rope on. But outside, the bird song is beautiful. There's a rainbow, it's raining on and off. It's really pretty, really, really flat. We've had two really beautiful mornings here. We're on someone's mooring. He's gone right now, but his friend didn't know when he was coming back, so we wanted to leave this morning. And we weren't really sure where to go, but then we met this guy, Rob, on shore yesterday, and he said that his friend, Pete, I think, is off his pile moorings for about a week, and that we can move on to those. So we're probably just gonna be on them for a night, maybe two tops. We'll see how it is. We are getting ready to move onto the pile moorings. I've never gone into pile moorings before, but there's no wind, barely any current, and there's two of us, so I'm not worried about it. We'll just do it slowly. What the plan is right now is to pick up the front one first, put it in reverse, drift back, pick up the back one. Shouldn't be too hard, as long as we don't run the lines over with the prop.
Yeah, we actually got offered how many moorings? Like 3 moorings within the space of 5 minutes.
Yeah, this guy,
very friendly community.
Very friendly community, and they were saying if his pile moorings don't work, then someone else was like, oh, you can use mine, I'm on the dock for a couple days. It's a very friendly community.
Super friendly community.
Yeah. So I'm sad to be leaving this place because it's just so quiet and peaceful, but we'll be conveniently closer to town, and it's not like we're here forever anyway.
Somewhere we're allowed to stay.
And somewhere we're allowed to stay, so we don't have to worry. Oh, so many sandflies. So many sandflies. You can see them in there. Blah!
Yo ho ho. Just here. This is not terrible filming. This is me pointing out our future mooring. Home for the next 2 days. Behind Windsong and next to Nawajas.
We're coming up to our pilings. It looks like the line is just in the water across the whole thing. So basically once we get close to it, I'm not going to be able to use the engine anymore for fear of running the lines over. So I'm just going to come at an angle like this, really nice and slow. Right now I'm in just an idle, and Dan will grab the line. It's a slip for a huge boat, so we should have plenty of room. I'm going to try to have it so that we can grab a little bit further up, so that when we swing back, we don't swing into this piling. Well, we are on the pile moorings. That was a super easy get on situation. It's just one long line of floats. We came up to it, Dan grabbed the front end, and then I ran forward and grabbed and just kind of pulled my way down the piling. Since there's no current, no wind, everything moved really slowly, and since we're a tiny boat in a big space, it was just super easy. So this is our new little spot. So as of right now, I haven't sewn this into the shape of the hatch yet. It's just a big piece of fabric. So it's a little bit annoying, but the way Dan and I have been covering this hatch is by just draping the fabric over here, and then there's this big divot in the hatch. I sort of forgot about the bug screens because we didn't have bugs once we left the hard, and now there's bugs again, but it's going to take me a while to hand sew all of the Velcro onto this, and while we're doing that we don't have a hatch. So I'm going to wait until we're gone from this area, and then I'm going to start sewing it. Almost 5 years of cruising, and there used to be 2 bow rollers on here, but the one where the anchor leads through actually got chewed all the way down to the metal rod. So I switched them out because this is just where the snubber goes. So I put the roller from the snubbers onto here, and now this guy doesn't have a roller. And the thing is, I always put the snubber through this one, but without a roller to keep it in place, the snubber, as the wind hits the boat and the boat skates around, it just moves from side to side and creates this horrible loud noise. So I duct taped a rag onto the front and that's been preventing the line from moving around. But we bought a roller at the Whitworths in Cairns, and we're just going to install that. So now I'll have 2 rollers again. It should be the right size. So all it is I didn't have a cotter pin, so I just tied this rope around the end. So you just take that out, bang this pin out, slide the new roller on, and then put it all back together. We're a bit further down the river here. There's more liveaboards, more activity. The river's wider. I was hoping there would be fewer sandflies, but that's not the case. I'm not kidding, I have about 30 bites all over my body right now. Dan's just covered in them. He looks like a measles patient. So we're probably gonna leave.
It's not as bad as the dry dock though. I was like 8 square inches there.
Yeah, when we were hauled out it was worse, but we were also hauled out longer. But we're probably gonna leave tomorrow. We have to keep moving anyway. But we're gonna go to this little island where there's hopefully no sandflies. We can heal from all of our bite wounds. So our best friend whenever there's bugs is calamine lotion. This one's from the States, but I just picked another one up in Australia. I think you just get it at the grocery store, but it works really well and it makes these cool dots all over your body. So you can just keep track of how many bug bites you have. But it's, in my opinion, the best stuff that I've found for bugs. In Vietnam, they had this really cool, it's like you put it on and it tingles your skin mentally, and then it distracts you from the bug bites, and I used a lot of that over there. But now I'm on to the calamine lotion kick. It's really good stuff. Alright, so way back when I was sewing things, I made this beautiful... Okay, I did not make this entire thing. This piece of canvas was here. It came with my boat when I bought it, and all I did was replace the zipper because it was old, and I sewed in this piece of bug screen and cut out the canvas holes to make a bug screen for my boat. The only thing that was missing was, see, this has a bunch of snaps on it, and I've replaced this hatch, and then I think I just took out some of the snaps that used to be running down the sides here. So I bought some snaps, and I have these tiny screws to screw them in, and I'm gonna grab some 4200, and I think that's all I need for this project to just put the snaps in, and then I have a fully functioning cockpit companionway bug screen, which is very exciting. So these are the snap ends, and these are the little screws. So what I do is I just line up the snap, drill a hole into that, and then put the screw through the hole in the snap and just screw it all in. There we go, attached on the top and the sides, and then this is a double zipper so you can open it from the inside or the outside. Just zips around, opens up, and you can pop in and out the companionway easily. On the new pile moorings, we were only about a 5-minute dinghy ride into the dinghy dock of the Port Douglas Yacht Club. They were just so friendly and welcoming, and it made it really hard for Dan and I to leave. In fact, we did end up staying an extra couple of days there because of the welcome that we received. This is the Port Douglas Yacht Club, and they very generously allowed us to use their dinghy dock, use their water, use their trash. It's super nice. There's a hose here to fill water. So just have the dinghy tied up and doors ashore, but I want to take you on a little tour of the yacht club first. They've just been so very kind to us, very welcoming. This is the Royal Dinghy Dock up here, and then they're doing their race week, so there's all the markers, and then they have this little stage area. This is their little garden, they have a little pub. It's been a really nice experience here. We met Rob, who's a local around here, actually originally a Kiwi, but has been living in Australia for ages. And he kind of set us up with everything. His friend Pete let us use his pile moorings because he's off them for a week, so that was really awesome. And then Rob just kind of hooked us up with everything, gave me a sweet t-shirt, which you'll be seeing me rocking, and just made us feel very welcome. I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of yacht clubs that are exclusive and a little bit holier than thou out there in the world, but this one is amazing, down to earth, welcoming, friendly. Everyone just shares a common love for sailing, and that's what brings them together. So when they meet other sailors, they're like, yeah, sailors. So it's been just a great experience. Really love it here. Definitely don't miss Port Douglas if you're cruising up the coast. It's been stellar. And a big thank you to everyone at the Yacht Club who's helped us out, hooked us up, given us advice. It's been so lovely. In addition to having a wonderfully welcome sailing community, and Yacht Club Port Douglas also has a lot of fun things to explore. Dad and I bought BMX bikes in Cairns, and we've been loving riding them around, using them not only for fun but also transporting groceries and stuff. Port Douglas has a little skate park that Dan was just tearing up, and I was doing so at a much lesser capability, but we had some really fun explores. We even took the bikes for a long walk on the beach. This is such a cool river. We're gonna go for a little explore. So we're gonna pump up the dinghy. You wanna be careful with inflatables because you can over explode them, and that's bad. So we usually wait until the middle of the day, hottest part of the day. If it's still a little bit squishy, then we'll add a little bit of extra air to it. It's naturally gonna get softer at night as the hot air condenses and cools. So it is 2:45. It's been squishy all day, so we'll just add a teeny bit of air before we get going. Highfield sponsored me a brand new dinghy when I was in Cairns, and the next YouTube episode is going to be the episode of getting that dinghy in Cairns from Andy, his trip up from Brisbane, bringing it to us. I just left the footage of it on my boat, and I'm currently in Maine visiting my parents, so I wasn't able to do the edit. Stupidly. But anyway, we wanted to take the dinghy out for a spin because it's a brand new toy, and before we had a very leaky rowboat. So we decided to head up the river with a cooler bag full of ice and beers and kombuchas and the drone to do some shots of the dinghy and the beautiful surrounding area of Port Douglas.
Yeah. Ready?
Ask any sailor and they'll tell you that they have lost a drone in the water. And flying a drone from a dinghy or a boat is always a huge risk because you can't just land it on the ground, and if it goes into emergency mode and tries to go back to where you launched it from, it's probably true that your boat's not there anymore. So the drone kept having these issues where it wouldn't connect to the controller and it would go into emergency mode, and I wouldn't be able to see the live feed of the drone, so I'd have to land it just visually, which was fine because I wasn't flying it that high. But it took us probably 3 or 4 launch the drone, retrieve the drone experiences to get all the footage that we wanted, and every time the drone would have this error and we'd have to catch it and start it over again. Something went wrong the last time, and there was a control, like an emergency shut off that I hadn't shown Dan how to do on the controller, which is that you take both the little joysticks and you push them down and towards each other. The other way to turn the drone off is to flip it upside down, which is what we had been doing. So I caught the drone and I went to flip it upside down, but it wouldn't turn off and it started trying to get away from me. But I was worried that if I let go of it, it would fly into the water, and Dan didn't know the control to turn the drone off. So I was just getting chopped up by the blades, yelling at Dan, turn it off, turn it off. And so then Dan went in to grab the drone from me so I could get the controllers and do the emergency shut off. Anyway, this is the aftermath.
The behind the scenes videos are sometimes quite hectic. The DJI's been playing up all day, and as we tried to land it, it just wouldn't turn itself off, it just kept spinning, and we had the choice of losing our finger or losing the blade. And we're both laughing, but it f***ing hurts.
So bad.
The legs are being
got my legs too.
The legs it got the dinghy, but hey, shout out to Highfield's resilience. It can take a full-size drone just whipping it for a little while, we hope.
Anything for the shot. We went home and tended to our wounds, then carried on with the day as though nothing had happened. We went into the grocery store just to do one quick shop for some freshies because we might not see another big store until we get to Thursday Island, and somehow we ended up with 2 bags, a giant backpack, and this backpack full of stuff. Canned beans, canned tuna, lots of freshies too, but hot
and we're
chocolate.
gonna come back out for dinner.
Yeah, there's grills on the beach, so we're gonna come back out and buy some meat and grill it up.
You think it's gonna stay sunny, hey?
I don't know. The things you can do on a BMX bike.
Show us the wind?
Not a lot of weight.
Too much barbecuing.
We are getting ready to leave Port Douglas and head further north. So first we're going to stop at Low Island, which is only 10 miles sail. We were hoping to get to Hope Island, ironically, but it was a bit further than I thought, 40 miles, and there's a lot that we have to do this morning. So I have just filled the tanks with the Jerry's, this one and this one, and topped up the diesel, and next I'm gonna go fill the gas tank for the dinghy engine, just because there's a really convenient fuel dock here and I might as well fill the 2 water Jerry's. I don't think I need to fill diesel because I barely put any in. We don't really use that much fuel, we don't really use the engine that often. Yesterday Dan and I did a big freshies shop because potentially this is gonna be the last one for a couple weeks. So we got a bunch of beautiful vegetables. We're gonna try to stop in Cooktown, but it seems like it can get really crowded in that anchorage and there's not a ton of space and it's quite shallow. The advice was go in at high tide, and if you touch the bottom at low, it's okay, which is a little bit sketchy. Then there's not a lot of swing room and it's in a river and everyone moves differently and there's moorings and blah. So I'm in the dinghy on the way to shore to fill the waters. I had a little drone incident yesterday which took a bunch of my fingers, so it makes doing everything really hard. I have this finger was sliced through the tip of the finger and the nail, and then blood blister, and then I just have cuts all over my hands. And this one doesn't look like anything, but it's super bruised and tender, so this is how I have to untie knots now. Basically, I just look like a massive dainty germaphobe when I do everything, because everything has to be done with the very tips of not that many of my fingers. Alright, I've dropped the water off on the boat with Dan, and next fill this diesel. Super convenient place to get diesel and gas, whatever you need. You can just bring your dinghy right up to the dock here and fill it and then pay up at the little store. So I would say Port Douglas. Alright, we're off. We're still figuring out how to lash grub onto the deck correctly because it's completely different than Puss, so all of my old tricks are useless and I'm kind of starting over with how it wants to sit and all my tie down points. So we have a breeze coming from here that's pushing the bow that way, which is unfortunate. And we're tied bow and stern. So what my plan is, I've already dropped the stern line on this side, so I'm going to leave this stern line attached to the port side and just put the boat into idle forward and start steering the bow this way. Dan's going to drop the forward line, and then we're going to use this as a little swing line that'll keep us from going too far forward until we have the bow into the channel with the wind on the other side of the bow pushing us down and around, and then we can shoot off into the channel and out and away. Hurrah!
Forgot to film, but we nailed it.
Yeah. Goodbye, Port Douglas Yacht Club. In the beautiful, tranquil river.
Pints per square inch?
Oh my gosh.
8.
Crazy. It's an insane amount of sand flies. Rob was telling me that some people come, stay a night, and then leave again because they can't handle it. We toughed it out. Just both of my legs feel like they're on fire all the time, but my phone just overheated, so it won't let me use Navionics. Take another take the case off and put it in the shade. But it's always fun. You put your phone outside to get ready, leave it in the sun, and then it decides to overheat and can't navigate. But we're good until we get out of the channel anyway. So this is the route. Pretty easy one, just coming out here and then over to the low islands, which are just right here. And apparently there's moorings, but we might even try to tuck right in here. It looks like the swell's coming from the east, and I think the lower we are, the more protected, but we'll see. I think these
It's a wee bit close.
I hate this stuff.
It's a wee bit nerve-wracking.
4 feet under the keel.
Leaving the pass, expecting to heel, so Holly's just getting the sails ready. Beautiful little peninsula. Upside down Holly.
Okay, engines off, sails are up, we're out of the channel. Didn't run aground yet. Have about 2 meters of water under the keel now, and it's not as wavy as I thought it would be.
It's windy though.
Windy.
Good wind.
Yeah, we have the working jib and the full main. It's 15 gusting 25, which is very vague weather forecast, so I decided I like to always prepare for the worst, and it seems like it's usually windier here than forecast, so we just went for modest sails.
Good wind and flat seas and
yeah,
not far to go.
I like it.
Captain Holly at the helm! Port Douglas in the background. It's very windy.
Yeah, we were underpowered for the first half hour, and I was kind of wondering if I should change head sails, but the wind's piped up and we're pretty
cruising along.
Balanced. Yeah, BMC is pretty rolly. But we're
Hold your hats.
Hold on to your hat.
Hang on.
As you can see, low island. It's quite low, and there's 2 boats anchored there already. We're approaching low island in a squall, of course. Makes everything way more intense, so we have dropped the head sail and we're just coming in slowly under sail. Dan is on satellite charts and bommy duty, and I'm on steering and navionics duty, although right now with the squall clouds we can't really see anything through the water. But Australia does a pretty good job of marking a lot of these little islands. Like this one has all of these triangle moorings in the water, mean that there's reef on the other side of them, and then the blue buoys, I don't know if you can see them, those are free moorings, but I think there's some that are a little bit more sheltered, or anchoring that's a little bit more sheltered, so we're going to go in further to this part of the island, because I think here it's flat now because it's lowish tide and there's reef, but once the reef is covered by the water, I think it's going to probably get a bit rolly. swelly rolly. And it's pretty hardcore now with this squall. It feels really intense here, but I think once that's gone, it'll feel very tranquil. There's a charter boat that's leaving.
There's a resort here.
There's a resort?
One of those.
Oh yeah, beach umbrellas. Oh, I did see houses on the sat charts. Oh, we're all mooringed up, and here, we're here. Dan drove Gecko onto the mooring and I picked the mooring up, which is fun. It's the first Gecky maneuver that he's done so far, and he killed it. Went really well. Didn't film it, but take my word for it. It's so beautiful here. We've decided to stay. It also looks like the perfect spot for kiting. Also, check out this fish. Just loves our boat. Oh, there's two of them. So perfect for kiting because we have an island here, an island there, and then reef right here. So we've decided to stay tomorrow and kite all day, and then skip Cooktown because you can see a lot of cool towns, but you can't always find an ideal place on a mooring in a kite spot, and it's just so beautiful. We've spent so much time in civilization now. We just got to this anchorage and there's charter boats during the day, but then they leave and we have the whole thing to ourselves, and it just feels great. We, you know, anchored up, jumped in the water for a swim, which always feels amazing, and we're just happy to kind of be away from the world and our own beautiful little spot. So we're gonna stay and skip Cookie Townie, which, you know, it would be great, but you can't do everything. And just enjoy life, man. It is a bit rolly in here though, so I just need to tighten up all the halyards. So the main halyard I'll put down there, and then that guy needs tightening too. But oh, thanks for watching this week's video. I put out new videos every 2 weeks on Mondays on YouTube, and for my patrons, you guys get a snack on the weeks that I don't put out a full-length YouTube episode. Patrons get access to snacks that they can requestable snacks, and little life updates because my videos lag quite far behind. If you'd like to become a patron, my Patreon is patreon.com/windhippie, and for one-time donations, I have a PayPal, paypal.me/windhippie. Also, this April, I am captaining a boat for part of a sailing festival in the British Virgin Islands, so if you'd like to get a cabin on that boat, follow the link below and check that out. There's also a lot of really cool sailors who are going to be captaining boats, so yeah, be sure to check it out and see what that's all about, because it's a pretty cool thing that I'm really excited to do and excited to meet some of you guys and sail with you. Thank you guys for all of your comments. I love reading them and responding them when I have internet. And thank you, Tish, for reminding me when I need to do another edit and helping me coordinate getting them up online from all the weird places in the world that I'm visiting. Right now I'm editing from my parents' house in Maine, which is why I'm freezing cold, but I'm about to go back to my boat in another couple days back to Indonesia, so that'll be really fun. Thank you guys for watching. Patrons, I'll see you guys next week, and YouTube people, I'll see you in 2 weeks with another full-length episode.